Hello, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here today. I hope you're having a gorgeous day or night. We're gonna dive in and get you some clarity. See what would be helpful. This reading is timeless. Whenever it finds you, it's the perfect time. See what resonates and always follow and trust that divine inner guidance that's in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, they're based in love, and for the highest and greatest good of everybody. So we are all uplifted in love. Let's begin. We're gonna start with a career and life and see how it flows. So let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels and energies of love have for the highest and greatest good of all. What is the opening message that would be the most helpful for the collective that's watching this reading to hear and know about? Please and thank you. The most helpful message today when it comes to career and life. Oh, you've got star power. Well, that's a nice message for you guys, especially if some of you have a platform or you're thinking about starting a platform, getting out there, definitely being noticed, recognizing there's something a little bit different about your twinkle, your vibration, your aura, your approach, your style, your way of doing something is so unique that it does stand out. So don't hide yourself away behind the curtain right now. There's a reason that you were gifted a certain talent or you were gifted a certain way of seeing a situation. This is where you are definitely being gifted, not just one opportunity, but many more ahead. But it's saying yes, embracing it. Even if you're feeling a little nervous, like stepping up to bat or getting in that spotlight might be a little intimidating. It's you just really embracing this beautiful energy of strength and confidence. I really like that this came through for you. Star power. You need work that feels engaging, that you're kind of really into. It doesn't really feel like work. It feels exciting. It feels like you can expand. It feels like you can grow or learn more about this thing or gain more expertise on a certain skill or perfect, even though you're never really perfect, keep perfecting a certain talent that you have, or maybe you're just discovering. It's telling you that engaging work is going to allow your talents to shine. You are a natural actor or an influencer. If some of you are an influencer or you kind of have that vibe where you notice as soon as you do something, you know, kind of set the trend a little, people start to copy you a little bit. And I kind of feel like once you see that other people are doing your thing, you switch something up. But there's something about your uniqueness. It's also embracing your unique light here. You are attracting fame and fortune. It's interesting because I feel like some of you are absolutely hermits. You don't really want the big spotlight. You don't want the big faint flame torch shining on you all the time, people all up in your business. But I do feel like it's getting out there. Maybe you have a specific niche. So it's not a gigantic audience. Maybe some of you have an audience of one. Maybe some of you have something small in your community, but you feel really comfortable there. I also feel like for some of you that do prefer maybe the quiet life, or you like your space, you know, you like your privacy, your privacy, depending on where you come from. I do feel like if that is what was holding you back, there is a way to still get yourself out there, remain kind of neutral, and keep your privacy, you know, yours. Your personal life's your own. But I feel like some of you are actually able to, I don't know, connect to others in a really natural way. So let's see what this is all about. I feel like with the star power, we should do an angel number. So let's do an angel number. What is one angel number message that would be helpful? And if some of you feel like you definitely prefer to be in the green room, you know, you want to be writing that movie, but you don't want to be acting in it, or you prefer to do the makeup but you don't want to be in the wedding. You know, whatever it is, and you are more of a behind the scenes kind of star, there's still a way where whatever you do is a special kind of connection, where whether it's word of mouth or because it's like a natural, I'm getting like a natural flow of advertising, not really any kind of pushing. I feel like there's an increase in customers, or there's more open doors that are coming in for you. I also feel like you valuing whatever your specific skill or talent is, even if you feel like it's kind of weird, you don't know if anyone's going to pay for that service or that's something anyone will be into. There's definitely a niche for everything. People are into all kinds of different things. I also feel like some of you go through one big open door and maybe it's kind of your thing, but somewhere along the line, along you saying yes more and more, having more and more exposure or more and more experiences, you're gonna rediscover and or blend what you were doing with something brand new and almost create your own little niche, or find one you didn't even know existed before, but you're gonna know that, this is something that nobody else is doing, and for some reason, I'm just really good at it. I also feel like some of you have a talent that you are going to, on a soul level, connecting to your here and now, like rediscover. I feel like some of you have a talent or skill that your soul has perfected in some parallel life somewhere, and you haven't gotten to it or tried that thing yet, or tried something similar to it yet, and you're gonna just kind of be a natural. So if any of you have a curiosity, if any of you have, you know, a little interest or enthusiasm on something and you're like, I don't know if that's for me, I do feel like you should follow that curiosity. And I feel like some of you also have something you did when you were a kid and you were just kind of gifted at it, and you know, maybe got into the daily grind, or somebody at some point told you can't do that for a job, that's just a kid's imagination. I feel like you're gonna almost reconnect to that little thing that you were curious about. Maybe just start to do it here and there as a hobby, you know, just a little project. And I feel like some of you are going to have this wave of opportunity that comes back on something you connected to as a kid. Maybe your soul as a kid didn't know you were going to do it, but you had to go through some stages in life before you could, I just heard reenact, or reattach, or retry that thing that you did way back when, because the timing wasn't right then. But there's something either about maybe society or technology or just the experiences you have had up until now, where you're gonna recognize that the timing is now right. And I'm not getting an age. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. So let's see. Clarify star power for the collective. What's an angel number that would be helpful? 21. I do feel like you've had a couple of cycles, or you've had a couple different careers, or you've had this progression of different dreams that you have, you know, put into your life as goals or things that you have accomplished. Because 21, it's like the world 2.0. Maybe this is you feeling totally different or having a different kind of energy in your new world. I also feel like some of you are creating your own world, creating your own thing. Energy levels. Pay attention to your energy levels. If you feel something is high vibration for you and really exciting, that's the direction to go. If something's always draining, always stressful, always kind of like you're only half in, you wish you hit the alarm again, you know, you don't really want to get up for that thing. Maybe you have to do it right now, but maybe have more pockets, more moments of those things that kind of lift you up, plug you back in, that you have to be a part of, you know, scheduling into your life. I didn't even read this yet. It's prosperity. So you have fame, fortune, and now prosperity coming in. But it's also where your energy levels feel in harmony. You also feel like you are in harmony with a certain person or a certain environment, or in harmony while you do that project. It's definitely you taking a journey. If you are waiting for something to happen, it's no longer waiting. It's doing something active and inspiring and productive with that time. Because for some of you, you do have an open door. It's like I actually see a floating open door kind of moving its way towards you, but it's like you have to meet at the perfect crossroads. It's like the door is going here and you're kind of back here. So you have to walk for that door and you to catch up, that opportunity to be at the right space at the right time. Maintain discipline. I mean, if you have star power and you have a talent or you have any kind of skill that you are trying to work on, that requires discipline, even if you're a natural. The more energy you put into something, the more you not only perfect it or make it uniquely yours, but the more it evolves and it grows. So there's something here where you're constantly improving and getting better. It's not like you hit that goal and now you're done. You're a star, you're good. It's like, no, you want to have more education. You want to have more experience. If you, let's just say you were an actor and you're always, you're always the serious role or the romantic comedy. It's like you want to switch it up and do like a really independent, weird thing. So there's something about the role you always played or the position you were always gifted or given. You kind of want to stretch out of that a little bit. It's not like, it's like, yeah, you kind of been there, done that. There's like something extra that you want to do. I even see a writer, if you were somebody who always wrote, let's just say adventure novels, adventure stories. There's something where you're taking that adventure story and maybe merging it with some, like historical fiction, or you're taking that adventure story, I'm kind of getting like Indiana Jones like, but you're throwing some sassy romantic scenes in there all of a sudden. There's like something where you're just doing something a little bit different than you did, and it's making you more well-rounded. Maintain discipline. I may even get it like a craft. If some of you are really good with your hands, but you always work with a specific medium. You're always working with canvases and paints, or you're always with, yarn and knitting or crochet hook or whatever that is. There's something where now you want to, make pottery or work on wood, or it's like you're just stretching what your medium is. And your skill is kind of always in there, but what you work on or what you're doing is different. It could even be that you keep your medium, but you stretch to what you usually do. So if you always sew women's clothes, or you're really good at making dresses, you're like, I'm gonna make the sexiest dude's suit you've ever seen. And it's like you always had that one thing you were comfortable with, but then you stretch yourself outside the comfort zone and try something else. And there's something about your first skill, dresses, maybe feminine cuts and whatever, that you are now transferring or transmuting into a different arena. And because you had that flair from the other arena, what you're doing now, that's why it's special. Then if you went to school to learn how to do dude suits and that's your thing and you follow all the guidelines and the rules, it's something where you come in and because of what you did, you kind of break the rules. I know those examples are really specific, but just whatever your situation is, take that energy, and move it through you to what you are thinking about or what you are ready or going to discover. I didn't even continue to read this card. Let's go back. The day you're waiting for will come. I feel like that was that floating door that I saw. Maintain discipline. You're getting closer to your end goal. But I don't feel like you have one end goal. I feel like your end goal is gonna just keep on growing, keep on expanding, keep on changing form somehow. There's no need to overextend yourself. Don't burn the candle at both ends. It's okay to take your time. Also, if you do find that something's really starting to kind of explode like a star, like a supernova, really take off for you, it's okay to have that day of rest or take some time off. Or I'm even seeing for some of you figuring out a way where you can, let's say, just do it all in a day, that you can then, kind of taper out there, but then you have some more time. That's your you time that you can plug yourself back in later. I hope that made sense. I feel like it's not procrastinating. It's just maybe having that space, maybe even a blackout. I hope that made sense. Like a blackout, like a period of pause where you just kind of get to work, you do your thing, you really like dig your boots in, you really like do your due diligence and do your thing, but then you are creating a lot of extra room for you to just kind of sporadically let it out there and give yourself space later. I hope whatever I just saw energetically made sense to you. Let's continue. Guard your energy and remain focused. If anybody is draining your energy, if anyone is trying to be around you simply because you are the star, but you feel that they're inauthentic in their approach or what they want from you, it is perfectly okay to say no thank you, or to distance yourself from certain people, or even say no to a certain project if it feels like even just thinking about it is stressing you out. But I feel like if some of you are stressed out because of success, there's a simple way to reapproach something that feels like an epiphany that will change how you feel about it. You're like, oh, well, if I did it like this, I wouldn't feel so much stress than how I was doing it before. So maybe you'll give that a try and then see. And if some of you don't have that epiphany moment, I do feel like you're gonna maybe have a conversation with somebody and they're gonna give you, hi Rose, a really good idea, like a little tip that will pay off in the end. It's a climb, not an elevator ride. Trust in you. That's the biggest message in the end. Trust in you. You know, trust in how you shine differently than anyone else. There's no need to compare at all. I just heard there's plenty for all. There's abundance for everybody. So there's no need for you to ever feel like you're taking away from something in order to gain. And there's, maybe that's also how somebody else could feel. If somebody feels like, you know, they need to try to dim somebody's light or dim your light or take something so that somebody else can't have it, maybe that's the energy that you will guard yourself against. I don't think that's everybody's situation, but maybe that's for some of you. Hi, Rose. I think Rose needs a little break. I'm gonna be right back for you. Speaking of my little doggy here, let's go to the divine dog and get you another message. What is a divine dog message that would be helpful for the collective today? Please and thank you. One message from the divine dog. Self-worth. Love what you see. Whatever I just said about not comparing yourself to anyone else, it's you loving, you know, the beautiful, unique you that you are, because there's nobody like you. And that is why you stand out. That is why you have something that is different. It's not being cookie cutter like everyone else. That's why even I see you as a trendsetter. Love what you see, but you have to look in the mirror. And I know this is really silly and it sounds like a little bit awkward, but in the morning when you wake up, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself one beautiful thing. Then the next day, tell yourself two beautiful things. Do pay attention to what you say about yourself. Always speak about yourself with a high vibration. Always look at yourself through those eyes of love, what you've accomplished, how you have grown, how you gain strength by going through ... how you always are able to handle ... You know, it's loving what you see, owning it. Half of the battle is just holding your head held high and having that confidence and kind of saying that you don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. That's sort of a good place to begin. And if you find that you are giving yourself negative talk, or you're in a lack mentality, or you're not really that comfortable or that confident in a certain situation, I even feel like for some of you, it's just dressing the role. You know, if you feel good about yourself, maybe for some of you, if you're feeling uninspired or your energy is kind of depleted, maybe it's paying attention to, you know, the beautiful foods, like living fruits and vegetables, drinking enough water that you put into your body to nourish you. Maybe it's making small changes in your everyday world that bring healthier results into, you know, your wholeness. It's maybe taking an extra walk every day, walking your dog, or riding the bike to work, putting on your roller skates instead of always taking an Uber or a taxi, parking farther away from the store entrance instead of the closest spot you can get to the entrance, having a basket and carrying something around the grocery store instead of always pushing it, although some of you have a lot of food to, you know, buy if you have a big family or such. But, you know, it's just doing little tweaks that make an overall difference that start to help you feel healthier about yourself. It doesn't have to be that you go to the gym and you get a personal trainer and you have this big intense schedule. Maybe it's just one thing once a week that you kind of enjoy and it doesn't really feel like you're working out, that gets you more in tune with your body. I feel like some of you also would really get a lot of value if you just connect to nature, maybe to animals. Maybe some of you are thinking about getting an animal, or you're connecting to somebody that has an animal. I just think of the dog. It doesn't matter what kind of day at work you had, or the mood that you were in, or how bad you smell from the gym, or how dapper you look. Your dog just loves you. So maybe you have this energy of loyalty coming in, or somebody that always sees the best reflection in you. It's sort of like when somebody compliments you and then somebody gives you an excuse. If that is kind of how you were, don't give an excuse. Really embrace that compliment and say, oh, thank you. And just leave it at that. Not like, oh, I really like your dress. You're like, oh my God, thank you. I wasn't feeling good. I had to put like 10 different things on today, and the other one was feeling weird on my muffin top, and, you know, my other one ripped, and people are like, you look great. You know, you don't have to go into a big explanation of all the reasons why you don't look great and you had to choose that dress. Just say, I'm just getting a simple thank you. And maybe that's enough to even switch up your vibration, or how you see something, or how you generally would approach something. And that's not all of you. Some of you are very open and gracious when compliments or support comes in. But we're human, so, you know, not every day is sunshine and rainbows. So let's go to the tarot. Let's get you some tarot messages. I feel like we should go kind of simple with the vintage tarot. Maybe you do something with vintage. Reupholstering something, refurbishing something, revamping something. Clarify energy levels 2121, star power, and self-worth. Love what you see. I'm looking right now, and I'm getting an image of like a fun house mirror. Maybe this is just you, and you're the one that sees something in a beautiful reflection, and they're always kind of looking at themselves through the fun house mirror. Maybe you're doing something by example to help somebody kind of straighten something up or see the beautiful facets of who they are, but that could be you. And it doesn't have to be overall with your image or how you look. Maybe that funhouse mirror is just about your talent or a project you're working on. It's almost like you were kind of looking at something kind of askewed, whether you had, like, let's say 100 compliments, but you had that one weirdo that said something that really like got to you. So you attached onto that one weirdo that said the wrong thing, that's actually just showing their own shade, or probably just jealous because they actually envy what you're doing, and not looking at all the other people that are supporting you or believe in you. It's sort of like that, like the funhouse mirror was kind of askewed from not even that big of a deal. I'm getting somebody latched onto that mountain, or like they made a mountain out of a molehill, but they're kind of like stuck on the mountain instead of seeing it as just a little hiccup. I hope that made sense. Let's get a tarot message. That would be somebody looking at something askew. Somebody's looking at something in illusions or delusions or not quite clearly, all behind the smoke and the mirrors. It could also be where information came into play, or somebody, you know, gave their opinion and it caused different emotions that came about. So somebody just sat on the fence for way too long. They don't even know where to start, where to begin, what is the right choice. So usually this is where somebody is stalling on making a decision at all. Or this is somebody that didn't see something clearly or thought they saw something clearly, but maybe made the wrong choice for them. Maybe somebody even made a choice that was always good for them, but if somebody is growing and evolving and changing, it could mean that a certain choice that worked in the past doesn't really work anymore. So the message with the Seven of Cups is definitely where you go for the thing that calls to your heart first. And until you take a sip of that choice, put some energy, effort, and experience into it, you're not going to really know if it's good for you or not. Sometimes thinking you want to do a certain career, and then you start to do it and you're like, yeah, now that I'm in the reality of this situation, this is not for me. Sometimes it's a career choice that is correct, but it's the wrong environment. And it's always getting rid of that fearful energy that maybe you're going to make the wrong choice, so it's better to just sit where you're not comfortable. It's okay to make the wrong choice. We're human. That is how we learn. That also deletes an option, so less for you to choose from the next time. But sometimes if you just see the reality in a situation, or, you know, take away all those smoke and mirror energies that are kind of askewing how you see something, often you make a choice, even if it feels like it's a little unusual, even if it feels like it's out of your comfort zone and it's different territory. Often, once you reach out and step up to bat, step in that starlight, that sunshine, you'll recognize that it could be the perfect choice for you. That maybe it is where your energy level feels plugged in. If you make a choice and it feels like there's always a hole in that cup, then maybe you don't choose that specific choice again. And if this isn't you, it could be somebody else, like sitting on the fence for a very long time, not really making any decision or going in any real specific direction that involves usually emotional land. And if you are waiting on somebody else to choose and no one's ever, you know, bringing that open door towards you, this is you making a solid choice to go in your own direction, roll out your own red carpet, pave your own path, and go your own way that you feel good about and you believe in. I'm going to do a little switch up just to dive a little deeper into why the Seven of Cups is coming in, and maybe get some advice about this decision that is not being made, or somebody in the smoke and mirrors. Maybe somebody is having internal dialogue or confusion about which choice is really calling their heart, because they're relating it to past choices and or being in scenario land to future choices that haven't actually occurred yet. Sometimes this is also feeling like you had the wool pulled over your eyes, but sometimes it's also where you're pulling that wool over your own eyes and not wanting to see just the reality of the situation in front of you that could probably take you to the best next step. So let's get one just to get a little advice. A little advice, because it's about cycles. You can't compare the cycle you are in now with a cycle that you were on before. It's also catching the right wave of opportunity when it comes in. We have many different cycles in our life. There's something about you heading towards a new cycle, and maybe it's utilizing the lessons you've learned, the strength that you've gained from the past, but then getting to embody that and use it for your future, not to keep everything exactly matchy-matchy in a new cycle. You have a new cycle so that you can expand. It's where something is, I mean, you have this. It says you're attracting the right things. You're changing your energy levels. You have prosperity and harmony coming in. You have this energy of a journey. And this is telling you, wherever you are, whatever decision you have to make at any given time, Ground yourself, find your center, be in the here and the now, not over there in la la land or stuck in the past. It's where you are gaining momentum with where you are now. I feel like that's that, like if you started to take something and a step by step, you know, your shoes get more and more comfortable. All of a sudden, you know, you start to skip a little and, you know, snap a little as you're taking steps. And all of a sudden, before you know it, with the energy change, you don't even recognize how far you've come. So it's like a natural progression and momentum without really having to try. It's just the rhythm is changing now. Your rhythm is changing. It's also that energy of life force, the energy of feeling like you're thriving. I'm also getting that there's something reviving. And it's interesting because when I see the wave, I feel like it's that body surfing energy, like diving on in. You have the momentum of the wave, but you're kind of doing a little swimming. You're not just laying there complacent. You have to go with the wave. But then where does that wave take you? It takes you to the beach. It takes you to the shore. And that's where you can get something grounded. So maybe it's diving into an emotional situation, letting those emotions naturally flow through you as you go. But there's something about you letting that flow go that grounds your energy back to reality, back with Earth, with Mother Nature, with the natural cycles and progression of whatever you're working on or however you are growing. I also feel like some of you, I see like a sandcastle now with that. If some of you built something and it felt like it was kind of like a sandcastle, you know, that rush, that wave, that energy, that change just came by and almost like a tower moment just tore something to the ground. I feel like you're actually having an allowance that something needed to just go flat to build a solid foundation. And next time, if you want something to stick, you're going to build with a different tool, a different, you know, I see like bricks or stones, something like that. So even if something got washed away, you learn how to adjust what you are working on now and into the future. So that was an experience that was worth having and to feel grateful about. Let's go back to the tarot and get another one. What is an extra message to know about on energy levels, prosperity, harmony, waiting, discipline? Oh, it also says the opposite sex. I didn't even see that before. So maybe it's a balance of yin and yang. Maybe some of you are connecting with another individual that has a stronger energy of one or the other, and that has nothing to do with gender. Maybe there's also something where with a certain person, if you're typically the masculine or typically in the feminine energy, maybe there's somebody that kind of gives you a back and forth flow, a different kind of mirror where you start to get more comfortable with that other side that's not your dominant side. And that doesn't have to be an individual, that could also be an environment or a thing that you're working on. So if you are naturally somebody that just kind of allows whatever to come in and you'll nurture it when it's there, there's something about you like really putting on the pants and pursuing something, you know, really taking action on something and feeling that like providing kind of energy. And if you are generally the one that feels like you have to provide, you have to get going, you have to be the one to pursue and, you know, really be the builder, there's something about you being the one that is now kind of sitting back and waiting for the right wave to come. You missed a wave, but another one is going to come by. And you're going to know and feel with that sensitive energy when it's the right one. And then both dive in and like go with the flow. So let's get one more tarot. What is an extra tarot message on self-worth? 7. Yeah, you're going to have clarity. You're going to have maybe a conversation. I also feel like see what's at the bottom. That's the balance of masculine and feminine. That's the balance within you. This is your guardian angel, archangels, divine energy coming through to support you, to help you get back into your destiny or on your new destiny, on your new trajectory. Such a weird word. And it's having this mental balance, emotional balance, spiritual balance, and grounded on earth all over. It's finding your Goldilocks zone. It's finding that center point. It's knowing that, you know, one day your cycle might feel totally different than the next day when you feel drained. maybe one day you're skipping to work, everything is rainbows and butterflies and sunshine, and you're whistling. And then the next day it's like the rain cloud, you're late to work, you're stuck in traffic, you know, you failed that test, that phone call didn't come through, and that door got slammed in your face. What is going on today? Pay attention to your mindset. Sometimes a door closes to bring you to an open window. Sometimes information has to come into play for you to make a solid decision in a certain direction. Sometimes this is just what you think, ideas you have, recognizing how intelligent you are, how generally if you follow your heart, your brain will figure out every step along the way, even if it needs to be a little flexible and readjust. This is constant readjustment. When you deal with one personality, you know, that medium point, that flow of energy might be completely different from a totally different personality. You have to kind of like, you know, use kid gloves, or you have a lot of, you know, humor with a certain person. It flows effortlessly. Maybe you're, you know, with another personality later in the day and it is not an effortless flow, and you have to adjust yourself. It's having introspection, as within, so without, on every situation you're in, and that's not easy. The thing with this temperance energy is you are learning how to make something look easy that's not necessarily easy at all. But to the outside perspective, people look at that temperance energy and they're like, how does he handle all that? Or how does she capable of, you know, all these different things at once, or handling all those different personalities, or putting all those different projects together and making it work? You do it step by step, decision by decision, experience by experience. It's never a perfect moment. Even if you find that perfect moment, the only thing that is consistent is change. That something will always change. So you have to have adaptability and flexibility, constant illumination here of your higher self, in tune with the frequencies of the ether, with the divine. But take that information, take that insight and that wisdom, let it run through your heart, flow through all the different emotions, tap into the energy of freedom and possibility, and ground it on earth. Sometimes you just have to stick a little toe in to know that a decision is right for you, that the temperature is just right. And sometimes you have to take that leap of faith and just dive on and get your wings a little wet. Upside down, it's constant imbalance, or never finding that center point where you feel grounded or centered. It could also be energies around you that are always getting you or someone else off kilter, out of balance. You know, paying attention way too much to the emotions and forgetting the insight, or paying way too much attention to the intellect and forgetting the emotions or the intuitive energy. It's how do you pursue and allow at the exact same time? How do you balance the most even energy you can in each situation, in your masculine and your feminine? Strip all those impurities, those heavy energies that make you feel like you are, you know, constantly drained, or the plug is constantly being pulled and you're not energized, out of your life. You know, maybe it's all at once, big decision, cold turkey. Maybe it's just little things that you adjust accordingly, and all of a sudden something starts to flow more effortlessly, like your shoes getting more comfortable the more you break them in. There's also something about that crown in the background glowing above a mountain. So there is something where it says it's a climb. It's not an elevator ride. It's not you getting on something and just hitting the button. Okay, take me up now. There's something about you having to do those steps. You having to have the discipline that bring you the strength to get up that obstacle and over the mountain to gain that elevated perspective. So you see up there, you're like, oh yeah, this takeoff with my amazing wings is going to be so much better from this perspective than, you know, you taking off from the ground up. There's something about you getting over obstacles that would have blocked you in the past in a different mindset or a different energy, so something doesn't get you stuck. If this is you being clear with yourself This is you asking yourself some real solid questions. If this is you with that sword and you need to hand that sword over to ask somebody else a question or have a conversation, then it's passing something off, so it's a back and forth energy. Sometimes you just have to listen and you get all of the insight that you need. Sometimes you have to be the one to ask. There's also that energy of victory here and peace. I mean, this is coming out of that confusion, coming out of the storm, coming out of a cloudy situation, completely in the clear blue sky, being gifted by God with an epiphany or an idea or a conversation, you know, or a solution, a resolution. And then taking that idea, maybe writing it down or calling somebody up and saying hello, or digging into the rabbit hole and getting more information to make that idea not just an idea that kind of dissipates into the clouds. That was a nice idea. I should have acted upon that. This is you acting upon that idea somehow. Getting past that ace and making that idea or that insight or that divine inspiration that you're supposed to pursue something into reality. Because it can manifest. It can turn out to be something really beautiful and bright. This is also truth. So if you were not gifted or given the truth because something was always cloudy and somebody was trying to throw you off your game or throw you off, maybe it's you looking at that with that truthful light and taking your own truth your own way, living your truth, maybe not by somebody else's perception. So it looks like with the Ace of Swords, it is a beginning. It's usually a beginning that starts with a conversation. It starts with communication, whether that is between you and another individual, you and a group, or you in a beautiful internal dialogue. Sometimes this is where you do need to start like a journal. Get your thoughts down. You know, have a synchronicity journal. Put all your ideas in one place, even if it's just chicken scratch here and there. Go back to the drawing board. See what ideas you may have had in the past, or if you keep that journal with you now, what you have now into the future, that will help you on your journey. It could also be that it's just a dear diary. This is what I went through today. And a year later, you look back at that dear diary and you're like, I'm going through a similar situation today, but look at how I handled it back then. And look at how I'm doing now. That big mountain is just a tiny little molehill. It's not even getting in my way. I didn't even recognize I had wings back then. But now I'm using them and I'm learning to fly. I just thought of the Foo Fighters song. And then I thought of what, Seal? I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night. I just think of the weird video where the guy picks up the sloth and helps him across the road. That's so old. Let's get you one more final message. Ooh, you have two messages at the end of this reading from the universe. The universe has a double message for you. It says, I know you have been, well, questioning. It's gonna maybe questioning yourself lately. And you're wondering if you are good enough. I just thought of the song by Sarah McLachlan. That is such a beautiful song. Are you good enough, you know, to really embody that star power in you that you probably signed up for at a soul level? It's just gaining the confidence or having the experience to really step into that role right now with wherever you are in your life. I do feel like some of you are going to feel like it's a brand new purpose, you know, not where you thought you'd be, but you're going to feel even better. So if you're questioning yourself, your self-worth, you are good enough. You're important, you're special, you are unique, and there's something about you being you that is supposed to stand out a little, so let yourself shine. There's also something about that woodpecker in the back. Maybe it's a knock on the door, or, you know, really building something. If you're good enough or strong enough to do that which your heart desires to do. This message right now, guys, this message is here to remind you that you really are more capable of doing it. Rise up and take that leap of faith. If something is deep within you and it tells you that something is not quite right, something is pulling the wool over your eyes, or feels like it's a constant storm of confusion, trust your gut, trust it. If you are unhappy in your life, whether that's in an environment, what you are doing, where you are putting your time, who you're spending your time with, or unhappy with what you keep telling yourself and the results it's magnifying out there, then change your internal dialogue. Change and make a different decision. Throw a monkey wrench in your day-to-day and do something out of your comfort zone to see if it brings you different results. If you're unhappy with anything in your life, change something. Anything. If you're always doing something the same way and it's always bringing you a lot of confusion, you have to be the one to change. It's not up to somebody to bring that magical elevator and take you there. You have to work your way up to it. Even if you get to escalate like an elevator. I just thought of an elevator that like takes off into outer space, like kind of Willy Wonka style. Even in that case, there's still something about you getting to that open door. And the elevator is eventually going to land. You're going to have to walk out and still take steps in that new terrain, that new space, that new cycle. It's entirely up to you. Stop making excuses, because you are the one that's in control of your own life. That's really powerful at the end of this reading. So take back your narrative, take back control. Even if you don't know what that story is going to be, just start to write and see where it goes. But really be on the page that you are in. Whether you are learning a tough lesson or you are flying in that magical elevator. I just thought of a whole new world on your magic carpet. It's all part of your story. So, with this, I bid you adieu. It's getting a little dark out here and I gotta go to the store. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me today. I hope something came through in this reading that was helpful for you. And I very much look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you for being part of my journey. I feel so very blessed to be here with you. Thank you. I love you so much. Bye.